What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and in this video I'm going to be doing some more farming here on this legitimately built Zero at Overpower level 8 with the community patch applied. I'm here in Tiny Tina's DLC because the item I think I want to farm for is a perfect bee shield. Now, I've been spending some time on this character farming for melee gear, including the rapier and the bladed grog nozzle, as well as a legendary ninja comm, and we spent quite a bit of time looking for this legendary ninja comm. We also have a chain lightning grenade as well. So we've got quite a bit of the gear that we need for Melee Zero. One thing we are definitely still lacking, though, is a legendary Roid Shield, the Hide of Terramorphous, or a Seraph Roid Shield, a grounded punchy. We could also use that. But I definitely want that perfect grounded Hide of Terramorphous. And one of the reasons I want that so bad is because they actually made it farmable in the community patch. According to Shadow Evil, without the community patch, the perfect grounded Hide of Terramorphous has approximately a 1 in 97.5 million chance to drop, or approximately 1 in 100 million. So that's an item that is almost impossible to farm. Honestly, if you were farming Terramorphous non-stop from the moment that Overpower level 8 was released until now, I still don't think it would have been possible to kill Terramorphous 100 million times. And so because of that, farming a perfect grounded Hide of Terramorphous, I would consider it to be basically impossible. It's so unlikely that I honestly don't believe anyone ever actually found a perfect grounded Hide of Terramorphous at Overpower level 8. Regardless, with the community patch, apparently it has a 1 in 100 drop rate, according to Shadow Evil, approximately. So that's basically a million times more common than it was before. But still, with a 1 in 100 drop rate, it's going to take forever to farm because Terramorphous is a pretty hard kill. And so I want to have as close to optimal gear as possible before we start farming Terramorphous, because Terramorphous is pretty difficult at Overpower level 8. So having a better bee shield will definitely be beneficial for us. I do have a perfect Lyuda, so having a perfect bee shield would pair really nicely with this, especially since we don't have a perfect Bone of the Ancients, or a perfect chaotic evil rogue comm. Having a perfect bee shield would mitigate not having a perfect comm or a perfect relic. Anywho, we're going to get started here, but before I do, I wanted to show you a quick kill that I got a Bearcat and a better legendary ninja comm from. Ironically, I farmed for this legendary ninja comm for quite some time. I was looking for it high and low in the dust, trying to find as many Tubby Spider Ants as I could, to eventually find a legendary ninja comm, and it took me way longer than I expected it to. And then when I finally got one, it had 59% melee damage. As I was warming up for this video, one of the things I was doing was just kind of goofing around, feeding Butt Stallion some Iridium, and sure enough, a Tubby Bones came about, and that's a pretty rare enemy, so I started recording it, and I'll show you that kill now. So, like I said, I was just feeding Butt Stallion some Iridium, just kind of goofing around, making sure that I had all of my settings right before I started recording. And I found this Tubby Bones, and it's a pretty rare enemy, so I wanted to record the kill on that Tubby Bones. Unfortunately, for me, I knock off the head of the Tubby Bones, and so that doesn't make them completely immune to critical hits, but it does make them significantly more difficult to critical hit. And without a head, he just kind of wanders around aimlessly. If you had an enemy that was purposely coming for you, oftentimes that's a little bit easier to hit critical hits on than an enemy who is just running around in circles, seemingly randomly. Obviously, there's some sort of pattern to it, but I don't really know that pattern. And also, being that it had been some time since I had fought skeletons, I wasn't really sure what element to use. I saw pretty quickly, though, that he resisted fire, so I go back to using corrosive here. And like I said, because he no longer has a head, I'm really kind of having trouble figuring out how to kill him. He's a pretty healthy enemy, he's got quite a bit of health, and because his critical hit spot's so difficult to hit, I was really having trouble dealing with that health pool. I do decide to take out another skeleton though, so it's just me and the Tubby, and I think I actually get a couple of critical hits on him here if I recall correctly. Recording this little bit of commentary in post-production because I wasn't recording commentary at the point in time that I saw this Tubby. Like I said, this Tubby was kind of a surprise. You can see that I'm actually able to hit a couple critical hits on it there even though it didn't have its head, and you can also see that it dropped the legendary ninja comm, a better legendary ninja comm than I already had in my inventory, and it also dropped the Bearcat as well, so I picked up both of those items. Like I said, very weird since I had spent a lot of time farming for that legendary ninja comm out in the dust, and when I wasn't looking for it, I got a better one. Pretty wild. After I killed that guy, he dropped both a better legendary ninja comm and this attack Bearcat. Some people have asked that I review the Bearcat as a part of my Does It Suck series, since it got a boost as a part of the community patch. I'll definitely be reviewing this weapon before too long, but I found it pretty interesting that I was able to get, a pearlescent weapon and a legendary ninja comm that was better than the one I had from an unsolicited Tubby. I wasn't out looking for that guy at all. He just kind of showed up, and so when he did show up, I killed him, and I recorded it so that I could, hopefully get better gear from it and add it to this character. I didn't want to, add gear to this character without it being on video. So anywho, we're going into the forest here from the back way, and we're trying to farm a perfect bee shield from these 2 tree ants here, and this could be something that takes absolutely forever, but I do want to give it a shot. I know that I've spent some time farming for a better bee shield already, and we have a pretty good bee shield. This one has at least 1 Malawan part because it says grounded the bee, and so we know that it has a Malawan capacitor with shock resistance, right? That's something that, only the Malawan part grants, the shock resistance I'm talking about. So we know it has a Malawan part there. And all bee shields have 1 torque part. So that one that we have is simply 1 part off from being perfect. If the battery was switched from whatever battery this particular bee shield has to a Malawan battery, it would have the perfect 181. I think it's 181 in these first 3 digits here. So that would give us more amp damage, which would be huge. Now, because we already have a pretty decent bee shield, it may take us quite a while to find a better bee shield. But hopefully we can do it. There are 3 different Malawan capacitors, as I understand it. 1 for fire resistance, shock resistance, and corrosive resistance. If I had to pick which one I wanted the most, I guess I would say an inflammable to be. But if it happens to be grounded or corrosive, I don't care. The only thing I'm really looking for here is max amp damage. And so if we're able to find that, that would be huge. So we did get a bee shield from, I think this is our first run, after my long intro there. So that's pretty good. We got 1 bee shield, but as you can see, it's actually worse than the one we already have. Somehow, it's at least got 1 Malawan part, I would imagine, because the amp damage is pretty high there. I don't know if this is a Malawan part, or I don't really know the parts on this shield too well. Being that they both have this part over here, I would assume that that is the torque part that is constant on all bee shields. Theoretically, if that part could also be a Malawan part, it would be even better. I guess I can kill Warlord Grug real quick. Kind of like the Hide of Terramorphous, they made the Ogre much more common or easier to farm in the community patch, which I think is huge, because if I was picking the top 3 most difficult items to farm in the unpatched version of Borderlands 2, it would be the Cobra, the Ogre, and the Hide of Terramorphous. Kind of doing Atlas wrong there by making the Cobra and the Ogre super rare, but oh well. Nice, those transfusion trails came in at exactly the right time after I got hit, so that was pretty neat. Unfortunately, this Duke of Orc doesn't really drop anything for us, even though he was Warlord Grug to begin with. Anywho, I think it's the Warlord Slog or something that happens to be in the final round of the Magic Circle of Slaughter. I think it's Magic Circle of Slaughter Badass round. I could be wrong on that. You have to work through a ton of enemies just to get to that guy. And then since he didn't drop the Ogre every time, man, that was a very difficult weapon to farm, especially if you were farming for it with the Torgue Grip and a specific accessory. So, kind of interesting there. I definitely think that making the Ogre easier to farm is a huge improvement. One of the many, many, many nice benefits of the community patch. As I understand it, they also made the Cobra easier to farm as well. So that's cool. But yeah, the Hide of Terramorphous, I mean, even if you killed Terramorphous as quick as you possibly could, right, which is like, I don't know, under 20 seconds or something, you still have to walk to his horn to summon him every time. You still have to wait for him to spawn in every single time. And that takes a lot of time, you know, even longer than the kill in some cases if you kill him quick enough. So because of that, I mean, Terramorphous just took a ton of time to kill, and so did Warlord Slog. And so I like that in the community patch, the Ogre and the Hide of Terramorphous are significantly easier to farm. I say that not yet having farmed for either of them. So maybe I'm speaking too soon and I'll never actually get this perfect Hide of Terramorphous, but I do want it. And in preparation to get that Hide of Terramorphous, I think that I'm actually saving myself time by farming for a perfect Beast Shield. I could be wrong on that. Maybe the amount of time we spend farming this Beast Shield won't be worth the actual amount of time saved on the Hide of Terramorphous. But then I'll also have a perfect Beast Shield for the rest of forever, which would be awesome, right? Because I think, as you guys probably know by now, Borderlands 3 is not coming out this year. I know some people thought it, might have been after that one potentially promising leak showed from Walmart, I believe, that it was going to be available during the Christmas season of this year, but turned out to actually not be the case. Gearbox has confirmed that Borderlands 3 is definitely still a ways off. Likely a 2019 release, as I understand it, so quite a bit of time away still, but I want Borderlands 3 to be the best game that it can be. I want it to be the best game that Gearbox can make it, so I want them to have as much time as they need within reason to construct an awesome game. I think Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 are absolute classics, and I think that Borderlands 3 shows what happens when you just try to take an awesome IP and rush a game. Now, Borderlands 3, or Borderlands the pre-sequel, was something that I think was kind of ordered by the publisher that Gearbox works under, which is 2K, and I don't think that, they really thought that all the way through. I feel that the Borderlands series would actually be stronger without the pre-sequel, but then again, I'm kind of a pre-sequel hater. What I'm getting at here, though, is that Gearbox wasn't the primary developer for Borderlands the pre-sequel. Obviously, they had input and help with it, but it was 2K Australia, I believe, that handled the lion's share of the development for Borderlands the pre-sequel. And because of that, it just doesn't seem to me to be the same caliber of game. I felt that the characters were, less enjoyable than the characters in Borderlands 2, so I don't know. If they need more time to make Borderlands 3, it's definitely not a problem to me, so long as it still comes out within my lifetime, basically. I don't know if a Beast Shield dropped or not, but I had to jump down, or at least I felt like I had to jump down. I probably didn't. I'm gonna kill this guy. Ooh, I should have been facing his chest while he was doing that roar. It's usually a good time to get a ton of damage on him. Trying to break up the monotony of just killing tree ants here, basically. Killing the tree ants gets a little bit annoying after time. I would rather kill Hunter Hellsquist. I think the bots are a refreshing change of pace from killing Hunter Hellsquist if you ever get bored of doing that over and over again. I wish there were two of him that spawned. Whatever. There are a bunch of orcs down here, and I've got an angry fairy. Try to kill this fairy before anything goes wrong. Perfect. She's dead, but those little lasers are still happening. Okay, I don't think a Beast Shield dropped up here, but I did kill another tree ant, so I just want to make sure. Yeah. Doesn't look like it, so we'll do another save quit here. So yeah, it is a little bit of a letdown that Borderlands 3 isn't right around the corner, but I really didn't believe those leaks, if I'm honest with you. I think I mentioned in one video that I wasn't going to do too much speculation on it until there was a more concrete, proof of Borderlands 3 coming soon. just because I saw it as so unlikely. The first thing that is going to leak isn't going to be a retail listing for the game. There's so many other things that leak before that, such as, you know, story elements, voice actor credits, screenshots, leaked gameplay, anything else. I mean, just a retail listing for a game seems like it would be very unlikely to be the first thing leaked. And so, I don't know. It's sad that it's not coming right away, but it wasn't unexpected for me. I didn't really expect that Borderlands 3 was right around the corner. And I know a lot of people, you know, were hyped for it, and I can't blame them for getting hyped for it. Trust me. I think it's awesome that, you know, people are as interested in it as they are. But another non-elemental bee there. Yeah, I never really saw too much in those I guess they were calling it a leak, but in that fraud retail listing there. I guess Rage 2 was confirmed, though, so it wasn't as if the whole leak was bullshit, but the Borderlands 3 part definitely seemed to be bullshit. I think it was Randy Pitchford who described Borderlands 3 in the same sentence as Half-Life 3, saying that, you know, currently Borderlands 3 isn't any closer to us than Half-Life 3, or something along those lines. That might have not been the thing he was looking for there, but yeah, that to me is a little bit scary, you know, because Valve has basically said Half-Life 3 is never coming at this point. I definitely don't want that to happen to Borderlands 3, and I don't think it's that drastic yet, but keep an eye on it, I guess. The main thing I want for Borderlands 3 is another character that's as fun to play as Zero. So long as they have that, I will be happy with it. Additionally, I also hope that they add a way to start the game at True Vault Hunter mode instead of starting at normal mode. That would definitely be awesome as well. In addition to that, there are a number of other things that I want in Borderlands 3. Maybe I'll make a video on, you know, my desires for the game. So we're finding some bee shields, but we have not found the one we're looking for yet. So this is a, you know, non-Malawan capacitor on both of these. This one's actually a pretty bad one. The amp damage is much lower than either of the other two in our inventory, so we will just keep looking. I do think at some point in time I'm going to have to break here in order to take my lovely dogs outside. They're starting to get a little bit antsy. Specifically, the girl one is the one who's kind of nudging me right now. I walk my dogs the same way that I walked, you know, my roommate's dog in college with a longboard and them pulling me with a harness and everything. So we'll have to do that. It'll be pretty fun. I enjoy it. They enjoy it. It's a good time. It is super dangerous, though. I wouldn't really recommend anyone do it unless you have a real quiet street to do it on where you know there's not going to be other traffic, because when you have two 50-pound dogs pulling you on a longboard, that's pretty sketchy, you know? Like, even though my dogs are trained pretty well, they always stay near the curb and don't pull me into traffic and stuff. If they saw a squirrel or a skunk or something, you know, theoretically bad things could happen. So I do wear a helmet while I'm doing it. I don't want to I don't want to be one of the guys who ends up in the hospital with a concussion he got from walking his dogs. That wouldn't be any fun at all. Just killing these guys since the fairies are interacting with them here. Cool. So I think that's all of the enemies in this area. And no bee drop this time. Yeah. My dogs are very, very strong. They both weigh about 50 pounds. The male one in particular is, like, freaky strong. My roommate's dog in college, Juno, he was very strong. You know, he could pull me, an average-sized dude, on a longboard very easily, you know, especially when he had something to chase. Like, if he was chasing my roommate on his bike, he would really pull hard, and it was truly impressive, you know? Like, a dog is much smaller than me, even though huskies are big dogs. I'm bigger than a husky, outweigh them quite a bit, you know. Still just able to pull me very, very easily. And I get it, you know, a longboard definitely makes it easier to pull and everything, but up hills and, you know, everything else, those dogs are no joke. I understand they're bred for it, but it is still surprising to see how strong they are. So, anywho, I leash both of my dogs up with harnesses. They run right next to each other, pull me on a longboard. We usually go about 2 miles at a time. Do that before work, after work, and looks like I'm about to have to do it in the evening as well. It's a little bit sketchier at night because it's dark, but wear a headlamp. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to eventually kill myself walking my dogs, but if I had to walk my dogs, you know, just by them, just walking alongside them, I would spend all my time walking dogs. I need that longboard just to make it reasonable from a time perspective. So B shield here. Did we get two B shields from this run or just one? Just one, I think. Yeah. But another non-elemental B shield here. So this one's definitely got to have a Malawan part to it, right? Because it has the same exact damage as our other one. I don't know what part is that Malawan part, but yeah, it has the same damage as our other one. So that's pretty cool. But the grounded one's still better because it has an electrical immunity. If we could take the Malawan part off of this one and put it onto this one, then we would have a perfect grounded B shield and I could be done with this. Unfortunately, there is no one on Pandora that can do that for us. So instead, we just have to keep running these trees over and over and over again. Try to get a few more runs in here before I break for a dog walking thing. I guess if I just eventually never find the bee, I can't record commentary for every single run. I'll go crazy, and no one will want to watch, you know, a 16-hour video of me running these tree ants over and over and over again. So maybe I'll just splice a bunch of kills together, just record kills for a few hours, and then splice them all together until I finally get that B shield. But I don't know. It would be better just to get the B shield this time, if I'm honest. What I want is for a perfect B shield to drop right here, right now. Then we'll have it. We'll be done with it. It'll be awesome. Hey, did at least drop a B shield. So that's something. Back-to-back runs getting B shield, that's pretty cool. I guess we do have 2 chances every time, but still. Better than no B shields at all, I can tell you that much, even if they're not good B shields. Is this one going to aggro on us too? I'm just going to kill her because she's annoying. Alright. Hopefully this is a perfect B shield. I'm going to go up to it. Betting it's an alkaline. I can't really see it right now. There's going to be an alkaline B shield with max damage. I'm hoping. No! It's not even an elemental B shield at all. Damn it. What a letdown. So now, how many B shields do we have? We've farmed like 4 crappy B shields or 4 B shields that aren't better than the one I already have. That's unfortunate. I guess that is kind of the diminishing returns that you're going to run into when you start getting closer to perfect gear, right? If you find the worst version of the weapon or the piece of gear, the next one you're going to find is likely going to be better unless it's an identical copy of that worst gear that you already just found. But if you have a piece of gear that is potentially pretty close to the, you know, the perfect version, it's going to be really hard to find a better version because you basically have to find that perfect version. So because of that, it's going to take some patience here. We just got to keep our heads, you know, nice and cool. Find this perfect B shield. Don't get too exhausted with the farming. Maybe we'll farm Hunter Hell's Quest instead of the trees in the second half of this video to make it a little bit less monotonous. I don't know. You know, it's just a thought. I think that would take even longer though because only one kill per run. But who knows? Did he drop another B shield for us? Doesn't look like it. Maybe this guy can help us get to 3 B shields in a row. That would be huge. Try to avoid all of these shock balls here. Oh, he did help us get to 3 B shields in a row. That is rare. Hopefully it's the perfect B shield. It is not. Well, I can tell you that it does wear on a person to continually get items that are worse than the one he already has when he knows that the one he has isn't perfect. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B shields that we farmed that are not better than the one I have. Or even in a different element, like we haven't even gotten an inflammable or an alkaline one yet, so bummer, you know? I would love to find an inflammable or an alkaline one. Partially just because I know that it only needs one more part to be perfect then. I don't know how many parts are available. I think it's like 7 or 8 different manufacturers. We'll go with 8 just to be safe, I guess. So, you know, even if we found an inflammable one, it's still only a 1 in 8 chance that it has the second Malawan part. This guy's a dick. I was trying to get to those transfusion trails before he swung at me, but it didn't work out like that. I'm going to try to get Grug bored here. If these guys can get close enough to him, that would have been huge. Looks like he took quite a bit of damage. He didn't all the way die, but he's down below a 3rd health now, so that's pretty good. Cool. We'll finish him. I wish he dropped the ogre. Oh well. Maybe he could have like a rare chance to drop the ogre, and then the warlord that is in the magic circle of slaughter could drop it every single time. I think that would be cool. That would be a good compromise. That way people who are just totally opposed to the magic circle of slaughter, which I can totally sympathize with, would still have a chance at the ogre, and then people who are willing to do the magic circle of slaughter would have a guaranteed ogre. That would be pretty perfect. Alright, don't want to die, so I'll kill that guy. I'm going to kill this guy as well, so that I can get some health back. Perfect. Let's go fight these trees. I'm a little bit low on grenades, but hopefully it's not a problem. Hopefully they continue to drop B shields every single run. That would make it a lot easier for me. But that seems extremely unlikely. Alright, got some more shock balls to avoid. We'll go check this gear pile over here. Looks like that pixie is mad. We'll kill her. No! How come we don't get another B shield? Oh well. Can't get a B shield every single time, unfortunately. I would love to get a B shield every single time, but it's just not gonna happen. I didn't know there were skulls up in here. Neato! Look at them skulls. Alright. I guess technically this video isn't a waste yet. Even if we don't find a perfect B, because we did find a slightly better, even if we don't find a better B at all, I guess, but because we did find a slightly better legendary ninja comm. That would be pretty lame, though. I'm hoping the game, you know, sees fit to just give me a perfect B. That would be much, much easier than just running this over and over and over again. Now I have no grenades, which is probably stupid. So I'm going to kill a couple of these dudes to make room for me to open a couple of these chests. Alright, now that we got a couple of them grouped up, we'll go for a boar or something. The warlord must be close because they're leveling up, but I don't see his tall ass yet, so whatever. Alright. Oh, he's way up there. He seems kind of stuck. Cool. Kill this one, and then we'll have grenades. Alright. So now we should be able to pick these up. Blow that guy up too. Now I have plenty of grenades. Let that guy blow himself up. Perfect. Looks like the big one is not coming towards me, I'm not super worried about any of the little ones at the moment. Cool. So one of them's down. I didn't see him drop a B shield. Doesn't mean he didn't drop it though. Cool. Avoid those shock balls, and let's see if they dropped a B. Damn, we had a really lucky run there where we got like 4 or 5 in a row or something. But we did not get, maybe it was only like 3 in a row to be honest, but we did not get any on these last 2 runs, I think. I'll give it one more run before the dog walking. She seems to just be getting too wiggly here. She's been very patient. What a good girly. But, yeah, I'm going to have to walk her real quick. And then I'll be back, and we'll hopefully farm that B shield. Score 100 critical hits with assault rifles. I've never used an assault rifle on this character, so that all comes from reflections with my antagonist. That's pretty funny. Weird that antagonist reflections can crit. I mean, I guess it makes sense. But still kind of crazy. Hey, got another B shield. This one's going to be perfect. Perfect and flammable. Ooh, it's alkaline. But the damage wasn't good. Why does it do this to me? It's a little bit worse than the one I already have, right? So this must be the Maliwan capacitor right here. This top right-hand piece here where it has this little thing in gray with almost like a gun buttstock cover at the end of it there. And then it has this little outshoot to the right. I guess they all have that little outshoot to the right. And they all kind of have that deal. So maybe that's not the Maliwan piece. But anywho, these two are definitely Maliwan capacitors because they have grounded and alkaline accessories or prefixes there. So maybe if it doesn't have another piece right here, that's how you know it's Maliwan, because this one seems to have, you know, that thing, and this one has whatever that is attached to it. So these all do not have alkaline, corrosive, or inflammable. So what we need is for our next one to have this part, definitely, and then whatever the best bottom part is too, and this might be the Maliwan bottom part. I'm not entirely certain on that. I don't know my shield parts very well. What I do know is that I do not have a perfect B. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to take a break to walk my dogs, but maybe this will be the time we get this perfect B. I'm not entirely certain. Walking the dogs, it'll take me, 15, 20 minutes here. And that'll break up the monotony, and then I'll come back. We'll have renewed vigor. We'll find this perfect B shield, and everything will be all good. Everything will be peachy. Maybe. Maybe not. And obviously, farming this B shield so that we can then farm another shield. Going really deep in the shields right now. Shieldception, if you will. Drop a B shield, you bitch. No B shield. Bummer.
The true world revealed. Weakness is now known to me. Time to go to work.
The B shield really shouldn't be that rare, too, because it's only got 2 variable parts, Since that one part is always locked in as a Torg part, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard to find what we're really looking for. But we cannot find it yet. Okay, I'm beginning to go a little bit stir crazy, so I'm going to go walk my dogs, and then I'll be back in just a minute. So save quit here, and yeah, I'll be back in just a bit. All right, back at it here, and I'm going to go back in. While walking the dogs, I decided that I'll do 5 more runs like this, and then I'm just going to have to start splicing kills together because I know no one wants to see me farm a bee shield for 19 hours or whatever this is going to take, so I'll just splice all the kills together after these 5 runs, and we'll see how long. Again, I'm still feeling pretty stubborn here. We'll see how many runs it actually took me to farm a perfect bee shield once I splice it all together. Regardless, right now, I'm hoping this is it. Hopefully I don't have to splice anything together. Hopefully I get it right here, but unlikely. So like I said, we're going to do 5 more runs here, so this is half of the first run done. It did drop another bee shield, which is nice, you know. Maybe that's the one we're looking for. Probably not, though. Cool. So we'll throw that over there, try to avoid these shock balls and the residual flower bombs that are around, and then we'll get over to that bee shield we earned here in just a minute. Alright. Cool. Another non-elemental bee shield, so 1 out of these 5 runs done, and then we've got 4 more here, and then I don't know what I'm going to do about those last however many runs this is going to take, but like I said, I'm just going to grind this even if it takes hours, but I'm not going to make you guys watch that all or try to pretend that's going to be an entertaining video. We did try in this video, I feel like I've farmed these 2 trees quite a few times now. It's, been well over 30 minutes farming these guys at this point, I think, so we'll keep going. And all I'm really trying to do is to get 1 piece of gear here, farm 1 piece of gear here so that I can farm another piece of gear elsewhere. It's like a, a double stack almost. Just farming for 1 legendary shield to farm for another legendary shield. It's kind of crazy. Alright, so this one appears that it got mad, or at least one of them did. We'll kill that one, assuming I can. Perfect. I wish those also dropped bee shields, so that we would have 4 chances at a bee shield every run, but they do not. So no bee shield this run, unfortunately, so we've got 3 more runs here with commentary, and then I am still running this, but without commentary every time, and like I said, I'm probably just going to cut the video every time as I start spawning the tree ants, so you'll still see me killing the tree ants, but you're not going to see me making this run every single time. At least that's my plan. This video will end up involving significantly more editing than the majority of my videos do. Most of my videos require virtually no editing because I do most of them in 1 single take. This one I have to splice in that Tubby Bone guy, and then I also am planning to have to splice together a bunch of tree kills while I look for this bee shield. Nothing on this guy here. Oh my gosh. Dumb shock balls. Alright. See if these guys dropped a bee shield. Didn't look like either of them did, but sometimes you don't see it till you get closer up, so that's what I'm doing right here. Nothing. We'll go again. 3 more runs. I wish that tree was just a little bit closer to this door. It would save me a little bit of time, but whatever. I don't know why I want this legendary perfect bee so bad, but I do. I surely do. We could definitely kill Terramorphous without it, but we could kill Terramorphous with it too. I feel like that would be more entertaining. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, Warlord Grug did get real close to me this time. I'm going to kill him just to break up the monotony here. because I am getting prepared to just run trees for a little while, but whatever. Alright, running from that guy because he is so powerful. Huh, I was hoping some of these guys would be close enough for some good boar action. At least they were close enough to body block his assault on me, so that was pretty cool. Kill that guy like so. Then we'll kill these two guys, and, 3 guys, I guess. And then we'll... 4, wow, I didn't realize how many dudes are still alive. Then we'll get some ammo and kill these trees. One of the trees apparently is already spawned. Oh, it's this tree over here. Maybe he'll drop the bee. The tree I've been ignoring. Well, now we have plenty of ammo, which is good. Doesn't look like this guy dropped a bee. I don't know if he can drop a bee. I think there's some sort of unseen distinction between badass tree ants and non-badass tree ants, and the non-badass variety cannot drop the bee. I could be wrong on that, though. Again with the no bee shield. Unfortunate. No bee shield again on either of these two guys. We'll have 2 more runs here before I go to Splitsville to just, you know, try to cut up a whole bunch of runs and find a bee. Ugh. It's not as if we haven't found a bunch of bees. We did find, you know, a number of bee shields here. So obviously I had the one with the star to begin with, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if the menu would work with me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra bees, which is good. None of them happen to be better than what I have, though, which is sad. Cool. With our follow-through bonus, we'll climb up this tree bridge pretty quickly here, and then we'll kill both of these dudes. I don't know if I'm going to fast forward all of the kills on these other tree ants. I guess I should. I'm not sure. Bee shield? Nope.
The true world revealed. Weakness is now known to me. Time to go to work.
No bee shield, it doesn't look like, so we'll have one more run here. One more run. Alright. This time we get it, right? This will be the time that we get the bee shield, and then everything will be good. Maybe. Probably not.
The true world revealed. Weakness is
But
now
maybe.
known to me. Time
Through the power of positive thinking, we are going to get a perfect bee this time. Maybe. Again, it really doesn't seem like the odds on the perfect bee should be that difficult, because one of the parts is always locked to be a Torg part. So it seems like finding 2 Malawan parts is well within the realm of possibility, but I understand it's still going to be rare. It's going to be especially rare if we can't even get a bee shield to drop it all. Okay. So now, guys, I'm still going to be recording, but I'm only going to record starting from when I, make the guys activated to when I kill them all. I guess I could do one long recording and then cut it up in the editing program, but maybe it would be easier to just make a whole bunch of individual slices, so that's what I think I'm going to do. Alright guys, so the next thing you're going to see is some uncommentary stuff, or maybe I'll commentate over it at the end, I'm not sure here. But I'm just going to be, starting the video recording every time with these guys spawning, and then killing it every time when they die. So I have decided to do some commentary over these shorter segments where I am just fighting tree ants. When I am not fighting the tree ants, obviously I'm not recording, and during the camera breaks you can kind of figure out what's happening. I am running past the orcs, trying not to engage them to the best of my ability. Unfortunately, I'm not able to sneak by them every single time, so sometimes I do have to kill a few of them in order to activate my movement speed bonus from follow through and use deception to sneak away. I've been trying to figure out how many different combinations of B parts that you could get. There are 7 different capacitors, or excuse me, there are 9 different capacitors and 7 different batteries. So that means there are 63 different combinations of B shield parts. 3 of those combinations are technically perfect Bs, they just have different elemental resistances. If you have a Malawan battery and a Malawan capacitor, that is going to be a perfect B shield. The B shield always spawns with a Torg body though, and so theoretically if the body could be a Malawan part, then it would have even higher amp damage. However, that would make it even more rare. Now what I don't know is if the Malawan capacitors are rated, or weighted rather, equally to the other capacitors from other companies. For example, I do not know if the Malawan shock resistant capacitor has the same probability to spawn as, say, for example, the Vladoff capacitor. Now I say that because what I'm assuming is that the probability of the 3 different Malawan capacitors added together equals 1 capacitor of another brand. So if you had the probability to just get a grounded B, I think that the grounded capacitor is actually rarer than a standard Vladoff capacitor or a standard Anshin capacitor or Bandit. I'm not exactly sure who all makes the capacitors on the B shield. Let me check that real quick while we've got some time. So TDOR, Bandit, Vladoff, Anshin, Malawan, Torg, and Pangolin all make capacitors for the B shield. And so what I don't know is if the probability of the 3 Malawan capacitors added together equals the probability of another brand. It all depends on how they're weighted within the game code, and I haven't looked that up. I could ask someone to look that up, but unfortunately I hadn't done that before. So I'm not really sure on that. If the Malawan capacitors are weighted equally with the capacitors from other brands, then you basically have a 1 in 21 chance to farm a perfect B. Because there are 7 different battery parts, 9 different capacitor parts, that means 63, different part totals, and there are 3 perfect Bs, so 3 over 63 is going to be 1 in 21. And 1 in 21 is not that rare. If you only had to farm 21 B shields to get a perfect one, that wouldn't be that bad. But I know I've farmed over 21 B shields before, and I hadn't gotten a perfect one yet. So I'm thinking that the Malawan capacitors just happen to be a little bit more rare than the other capacitors. Obviously, combined with the 3 different Malawan capacitors, I think that has the equal probability to a capacitor from another brand. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. As we begin to work through these runs, I should let you know how many runs it actually took to farm for a B, but I'm not entirely certain about that. As far as the short segmented runs, I think it's 14. I think it's 14. Anywho, I keep working through these guys, just trying to kill them as quickly as I can. Getting a little greedy sometimes, getting hit by those flower bombs or getting low by some of the electrical orbs, but not a huge deal. I never end up dying to the tree ants as far as I know. One thing that I am certain of is that this is probably the best place to spawn. I said certain and then probably. That's kind of contradictory there. I will say with absolute certainty that this is the best place to farm the B shield. I wouldn't recommend doing a full run of the map unless you were also looking for the class mods or the alignment class mods. Obviously for Zero it's called a rogue class mod, but other characters are called something different, and it has the different alignments in front of it, for example chaotic evil or chaotic neutral, etc. So this particular area, just coming in through the back area of the forest and then coming right down to this little blood pool, it doesn't take that long, and then you get 2 pretty quick chances to farm a bee shield. So overall, it's not that painful of a farm. Obviously, it did take me quite a bit of time here. If you include all of the time that I cut out between these runs, definitely well over an hour of farming, you know. And an hour of efficient farming too, you know. Like, I was getting quite a few kills in here before I finally found what I was looking for. I don't want to spoil the end here for you guys, but I did mention earlier that I was just going to run this until I found one, so I hope you took my word for that. We're about halfway through all of these short segments here at this point, and again, you know, I'm just trying to kill these guys as quickly as I can, save quit, run back in here, kill them again. And I'm not exactly sure how many non-perfect bees I farmed during this particular run, but it is several, and at the end of the video I sell all of those imperfect bees that I have found. Not all of them actually. I keep one corrosive resistance one, and I keep one shock resistant one that I had from a previous video. Beyond that though, I do end up selling the rest of them. I should have probably learned how to do some smoother transitions between scenes here in Adobe Premiere, but it took me a long time just to freaking record this video, so I'll have to learn some sweet transitions and effects, you know, some editing skills with the newest version of Premiere in the future. I used to know how to do like simple fade transitions and everything, but it's been a while since I messed with the transitions and stuff here. I hope you guys don't mind these rough cuts. You know what's going on. I'm farming these tree ants. It's taken quite a while though, and you know, I'll show you guys every time I kill them here, and that we do eventually find a good bee shield. I won't let on here what element it is, but I end up being pretty happy with the element that I get. So I guess I did technically have my mic on while I was running all of these, but I wasn't really saying anything until I got to the last one here. Like sometimes I would say something like, you know, drop a bee, give me a bee this time, but nothing truly interesting. Looks like we have 3 more kills before we get to the good kill, so I'll stay with you guys in this post commentary for, you know, 6 more tree ants or something here. I will say, you know, the drop rate, I guess it's supposed to be 10%, but it seems a little bit higher than that when farming these tree ants. I'm not entirely sure about that. I could be wrong. I think it's supposed to be 10% though. Maybe it's just the fact that we get 2 chances per run makes me feel like they're coming a little bit more frequently, but it definitely seems like we weren't having trouble finding bee shields. It was just finding the perfect bee shield that was difficult for us. So yeah, 2 more runs here, and then we get to the good run. So that's pretty good. I did cut off the audio at the end of the good run because I started saying some stupid things as far as how many capacitors and batteries there were, just guessing, before I actually looked into it. And so since I said the wrong numbers there, I kind of cut that. So yeah, I just didn't want to say, because I think I said that there were 6 batteries and 10 capacitors. That's wrong. There are 7 batteries and 9 capacitors. So I didn't want to put out the wrong information there. So that's why I cut that audio out a little bit. So this is going to be the last kill we have prior to getting the good kill. And then after I get the good kill, I do take some time to sell the bee shields that I don't need so that they're not taking up a ton of space in my backpack. Because like I said, we got quite a few bee shields. Sometimes if you don't, you know, come up here carefully enough, the orcs are going to follow you up here. And while they can work as a second wind opportunity, they also kind of work as a putting you in second wind opportunity. So you have to be a little bit careful for those guys. Anywho, we're getting to the good run now, so I'll end this post commentary.
Weakness is now known to me. Time to go
Ooh, this might be the run. Got a bee. Maybe that's it. It is it. Oh my god. Took absolutely forever, but we finally found it. Inflammable bee, wherever it is. Inflammable bee. I'll keep the grounded just because it's grounded. I'll keep the alkaline just because it's alkaline. The rest of these I'm going to sell. The inflammable one is definitely our best. We can see that it has a higher roid damage than any of the others. Amp damage, not roid damage. And we're going to use this high amp damage shield to hopefully farm a high amp damage or a high roid damage shield. Man, I keep getting the amp and roid switched up there. But now that we have a perfect bee shield, we will use this to hopefully farm a perfect Hide of Terramorphous. This took quite a few tries to get. Obviously, I've already done another video on farming for a perfect bee shield, and it just takes a lot of runs, guys. Obviously, we've got the perfect inflammable bee somewhere around here. I don't need a star on that one anymore, but we've got this perfect inflammable bee here, so that's excellent. And we've also got an alkaline bee that has decent amp damage, and we still have that grounded bee that I farmed for in a previous video. Other than that, though, we are going to sell all of the bees that we don't need here. So getting rid of quite a few bee shields, which, you know, is probably disappointing to some because any bee shield's pretty useful. But now that I actually have a perfect one here, I can get rid of the ones that I don't need. And so that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I do appreciate it. Sorry that it took so long to farm for the bee, but that's just kind of the way that RNG is going to work for us, so just have to deal with it sometimes. So I'll begin to sell all of these bees here that aren't the inflammable or the alkaline or the grounded. So there's our inflammable. That's our best one. All of these ones with red X's I can get rid of. Cool. So now I have one of each flavor. Obviously the grounded and the alkaline aren't near as good as the inflammable, but it's still nice that they're there, I guess. So that's pretty cool. As always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, please do so. I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. Before we go, we're going to try to gib all of these dudes real quick with our new bee shield. There are quite a few of them, so I'm going to back up a little bit so that we have just a little bit more space. Looks like the longbowman is probably the most dangerous at range there. Cool. Excellent. These guys don't really stand a chance against my bee, especially at this distance. So now you at least know why I farmed for the bee, specifically that one, because it's going to absolutely wreck shit. So, like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. I know it's difficult to watch somebody farm for an item this rare, but we did find it, so good stuff. Do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.